Angelika Oles needs no introduction in the commentary community. She's one of the few female commentary channels on YouTube with such a massive following. She makes a lot of videos on past and present YouTubers, which often criticizes them for whatever scandal or controversy they're in. And pretty much 100% of the time, she holds the moral high ground for which the majority of the internet is leaning towards. But I've had issues with her channel pretty much since the beginning. I've only decided to make a video about all my problems with this now because of a tweet she made to Gabbie Hanna, which proves that there's absolutely no winning in this world. Like, even if you're doing something right, you're still doing it wrong. Feel free to dislike ahead of time. I know she has a huge fan base and tons of supporters, so I really am walking into a landmine here, but I feel like I have to. Just for some backstory, her channel was first recommended to me back when she was about maybe 80k in subscribers, I think. Don't quote me on this because I don't have the stats or anything for that specific moment in time, but it was back when the Zoella advent calendar hysteria was happening. And once she started her Road to Irrelevancy series, that's when I realized I personally couldn't subscribe to this channel. As any small YouTuber would, aggressive titles seem to be the way to make your videos pop up on the recommended. By doing this, there is some aura of mystery, either challenging the viewer to watch the video and see that they're wrong, or it hits that curiosity component where people aren't really even necessarily thinking of a certain thing, but your video title just gets them to start thinking about it. This comes across everyone's mind when you're trying to make videos for your YouTube channel, but after a lot of introspection, personally, I would settle for a lower view count so I can sleep at night knowing I didn't fuck with someone's self-esteem and mental health just for a quick buck. I personally don't think I'm better than anybody for thinking that way. This was just how I was raised. For Angelika, my main issues with her is that her titles don't really match up with her content all that well. Certain words trigger certain reactions. Like, you saying you dislike a person is different than you saying you hate a person. And in this case, let's use Angelika's Road to Irrelevancy title.
So this is actually part whatever of Road to Irrelevancy. It's literally because people are wondering why these people are losing traction. They're not relevant, like people don't go and watch their videos, but people want to know why they are not as popular as they were back in the day. So that's just to answer your question before you write a dumb comment.
She could argue that this is not an untrue statement. These YouTubers are irrelevant to the current YouTube climate, and they technically are on the downhill slope of their time in the limelight. But there is a better way to phrase this without coming off so harsh. Similar to those videos that are titled YouTuber X, Where Are They Now? It's the same exact thing. Same content, same premise, same everything. People are naturally curious about YouTubers that have faded from the spotlight, similar to how people are interested in how actors and movie makers somehow disappeared for a while. It's not a topic you can't make a video on, but the overly aggressive title makes it feel like she's attacking the subject of the video. Now, I've watched the majority of these Road to Irrelevancy videos, and I understand why the bigger YouTubers are irritated by this.
But all I'm doing is pointing out that someone's views are dropping, and here are the reasons for why the views are dropping.
She claims to have these theories or insights as to why these people are not relevant anymore, but she really doesn't. It's all speculation, and worst of all, very much hinged on numbers.
These will all have pretty much the same format, with the social blade looking at the channel and then my opinion on every person.
The things she falls back onto are always social blade and the percentage of the views to the sub count.
Got 7.7 million subscribers. These should not be your views. These should not be your statistics. This is not a good representation of a channel with 7.7 million subscribers. Someone like that should be getting anywhere between 700, anything above like 700,000 views per video, because usually it's about 10% of your sub count.
My personal opinion is that this is one of the most toxic things a person can do. You're reducing a person's worth to a number and making them seem only as important as the number of views that they get. As small a channel as I am, I genuinely think that if I enjoy making videos and someone out there enjoys watching my videos, it's already a win-win. For these bigger channels, yeah, it's a little sad that they don't get the views that they used to, but if they're doing things that make them happy and making a small percentage of the viewers that still watch them happy, then why is it your business to make them feel smaller or less important than what they are?
Views are a pretty important thing. Don't act like you're so much more than YouTube and how views don't affect you anymore and you don't give a about YouTube anymore.
Yes, views are important, but they're not everything. There are plenty of creators and videos out there that do not get the views or numbers that they should. It's just criminal, but it is. Like, I have a friend making a channel about mental health and self-love and all this stuff, and her videos are really informative and fun, but they just don't get the views. but it's still equally important to make these videos, because even if one of their subs is dealing with a bad home life or a shitty school life, you can't quantify that into a number. One view is one view. Even if it meant more to person A than it meant to person B, YouTube is still going to see that as one view. And that's why even I would be annoyed with these videos, even though I'd never be big enough to be in them. Angelika basically claims that these numbers are everything that your channel is, and to some extent that is correct because this is the reflection of your channel, but saying a person is irrelevant, or in the dictionary's definition doesn't matter, is a real slap in the face even if she doesn't think it is.
She first bangs on about how I said this big thing as if like irrelevance was like such a wild topic, like it's so taboo. People become irrelevant on YouTube so quickly that it's not such a big deal.
The word irrelevant has an inherently negative connotation. It's not neutral. So Angelika thinking that it is either ignorance or deciding that it doesn't bother her, so it shouldn't bother anybody else. I have another question for you. You may argue the semantics of words like you have earlier with the word irrelevant, claiming it's not a dirty or a taboo word, which I agree it's not, but you act like the word isn't harsh or as negative as it is. It literally means not important or doesn't matter. Saying to someone that they don't matter is a really shitty thing to do. But here, you sugarcoat the word offended when describing those who were offended by Gabbie's video with Bianca.
And the younger generation is, I guess, just they're more like, not maybe I'm not saying they're like sensitive snowflakes, but we're more like in tune with things that we might be offended by. I don't know how to word this properly.
Why are you sugarcoating those words when it suits your narrative, but it's the Wild West when you want to use harsher words like irrelevant?
But none of it is bullying if it's true.
Wow, your eyes are so small and slanty. Excuse me? What? It's true. Your eyes are smaller and slantier than mine. Can't get mad at facts, right? Sure, but have you ever heard of a thing called manners?
Sis loves her clickbait, and if you're upset about that, that's your problem. I'm not gonna solve it for you.
First off, how is this my problem? You titled it in such a shouty, clickbaity way. I'll give her this. It's on the viewers to decide if they want to watch more negative videos than positive ones, but the aggressive and negative titles are all on her, because she titled them.
And Road to Relevancy just sounds like a very aggressive title. Sometimes it's not as bad as it seems. I just like to stick with a aesthetic, and my aesthetic is irrelevancy.
But then again, as far as I know, Angelika has never really preached positivity. She's preached a moral code, which is at least neutral, so there's that. But I find it to be a little underhanded that you're titling your videos in this way just to fall back on it's an aesthetic.
Stick with a aesthetic.
And as a side note, Angelika seems to get really irritated at these big YouTubers that clearly see her videos on the Road to Irrelevancy series do not bother to check and watch the entire video.
But I used her as the thumbnail because out of those 3 people, she was the most relevant one because she's not on her road to irrelevancy. Shock horror, clickbait is a thing. She just read the title, saw the thumbnail, put 2 and 2 together and thought that I called her irrelevant. If you actually watched the video, Lily, if you come across this, I never called you irrelevant.
Big thoughts about this. Like, I am nowhere near the size of these big YouTube channels, but hell, even I wouldn't watch drama videos about me when it looks like this. Or this. This is not because they were unwilling to take criticism, but because of how your titles and thumbnails are. If I were Superwoman or Gabbie Hanna or whoever you're targeting, regardless of all the questionable things I may have done, why would I click on these videos that are not even trying to take a neutral stance on a subject when the subject is me? If I see someone coming after me with guns blazing, that's a completely different tone than someone wanting to chat with me at a coffee shop. That's not me not being able to take criticism, that's me protecting my mental health. Say if I were lillysingh, I would be far more inclined to watch drewgooden's video or jaubrey's video where they don't distort the face or caps locks the crap out of the title calling me irrelevant. You have to know that your videos are inherently aggressive from the preview. So if the big YouTubers refuse to watch these, can you really blame them for that? She does have her moral compass pointed north, but it astounds me when she cries about the hypocrisy of YouTubers when she herself is like drowning in it.
But some of them aren't. Some of them happen to be able to milk this lazy kind of content making. And you know what? If you can milk it for all it's worth, then so be it. I mean, who am I to judge, right? I mean, I'm Angelika, so you know, I just judge. I do a whole lot of planning that the videos I used to make did not require.
I really don't mean to be that person, but Angelika's channel is nothing close as to research as nerdcity's is, or even jaubrey's when it comes to researching their subjects. And in contrast, codyko and drewgooden may not have as technically researched videos as nerdcity or jaubrey, but to combat that, they also layer in more jokes and skits and things.
Because she seemed determined to try and figure out how many ways she could retell the same joke. Monologue about how she's not a white man. Song about how she's not a white man. Sketch about how she's not a white man. Sketch about how she's not a white man. Sketch about how she's not a white... I'm starting to think that Lily might not be a white man.
She gets anywhere between kind of 500 to 5,000 subscribers a day, but I'm not sure why on the 19th of September she lost 1.3k subs. Don't know what happened. Tell me, girl, like what went down?
Angelika takes things on the surface level as they present themselves without digging that much deeper. So in many ways, especially with the low effort setup and the editing of these videos, legitly just her room, her iPhone, and not even interesting cuts in her videos, that could be construed as lazy, low effort content as well. Yet here she is, criticizing other people for doing it.
And then I'll put in jokes in between so that it's not just me reading out statistics.
She says she layers in jokes, but I haven't seen many. Maybe one.
Girl on tour and girl something gone wild. She claims that she doesn't care about how much money she makes, that she's very humble with how she spends her money, yet she still does brand deals. Why? Or any sort of thing like that is not a bad thing. I'm not opposed to it. If you want to hit me up, you can hit me up. But I don't bang on about how I don't care about money. I don't know how much I spend, and I'm so humble about my spending, so I don't care about doing brand deal. And then do a brand deal.
Hey, you said you don't care about money. Don't take that brand deal. No, I meant that money is not my highest priority, but it still matters. I'm still gonna take the brand deals if I want to. Ugh, making a video on you, you're such a hypocrite.
Hypocritical. It's so hypocritical.
Even PewDiePie touched on this topic when Jake Paul tried to take down codyko for being a quote-unquote cyberbully.
There are channels that are dedicated purely to criticize people. And these channels clearly have to make a living giving their audience what they want. So they nitpick a lot of things that aren't that big of a deal. And I've seen this many times at these channels. They nitpick these small things that doesn't matter, but since they built an audience around this topic of just people, then they all get along with it.
There are quite a few channels out there now that have only popped because they made videos about drama, and they're kind of stuck in that niche because the people that subscribe to them are there for the tea. So even the smallest things that aren't really worth the criticism ends up being criticized to provide their audience with more content. It's like the Rewired Soul making 15 videos on Trisha Paytas or Keemstar on the Paul brothers back in like 2017, 2018. Yeah, all the people involved were worthy of criticism, but the number of videos is undeniably excessive. For this example, let's talk about Angelika versus Zoella. The first video about her was kind of recapping all the controversies that Zoella had played a part in, which is fine. It's real tried and true criticism, so no issues with me over there. Then we get to Scamella Strikes Again, Zoella's worst career move yet, which also happens to be her most watched video to date. An 18-minute video on how Angelika hated how low-effort Zoella's nonfiction book about crafts and party planning was. Going back to my last point, the title is way more aggressive than it needs to be, merging Zoella's name with scam and calling it her worst career move ever. I'll just say this right now, it is not a scam. Selling nonfiction books is a better avenue for YouTubers than fiction, especially when they have no background in fiction writing, IMO. And 2, that's a hardback book with colors and print, which looks like it would sell exactly for £20 at my local Barnes & Nobles. And what about that part where it says it's Zoella's worst career move ever? Yeah, that wasn't explored. So was it a scam? No. Did we learn how it was her worst career move ever? Again, no.
Sis loves her clickbait.
Sis loves her clickbait.
If Angelika's gonna fall back on all the titles are clickbait, then fine. I'm criticizing this for being complete and utter clickbait. It's not even clickbait irony, which is actually the best use of clickbait in my opinion. This is actually someone going hard on Zoella for her party planning book when they really don't deserve it. It's just a party planning book. How mad can you actually be at a book that talks about things you might need for a party? Yeah, I don't deny it. You can find a lot of these things on Pinterest, I bet. But does that mean art that was digitally drawn for like webcomics and stuff, that can't be repackaged and put into a book? No, of course not. I think I wouldn't have taken as much issue with this if it was kind of made in the same vein as like Jackmate's video, because first of all, his title matches his content, and second of all, he takes a really lighthearted tone with the entire video and layers in a lot of jokes. So there's no question that this video was made for the purposes of satire and comedy, whereas Angelika's, I don't think you can really call it that. It's more complaining than anything else. It very much seemed like this video was just looking for a topic to rant about, and big YouTubers and their books are easy targets. Does that mean I'm saying Angelika can't have an opinion and make a video about it? No, freedom of speech, go nuts. But as a viewer, I don't think this book is worth an 18-minute long rant that is in it more for the views than it is anything else. To which I'll give her credit, she admits at the start.
All of a sudden, she's milking the topic. Well, you know what? So be it.
But having said that, can you really hold the moral high ground when you yourself are clearly in it for the views? Maybe Angelika never claimed to be on this pedestal, but her many videos claiming that YouTubers make mistakes here and there and everywhere, that would certainly put her up that way. Angelika saw a tremendous growth of her channel because of the trending names and drama and such, and no matter how you slice it, you have to respect the hustle. People who use the SEO and the algorithm to their advantage are making names for themselves. But this is why the exaggeration of drama or petty things is really starting to take its toll. It becomes undeniable that these channels are now motivated by money to continue blasting everything that comes their way. It's hard to look at Angelika's channel and not understand why she made 6 videos on Sugg or 9 on Gabbie Hanna. Each video brings in fresh coin into her bank, so she's not taking the moral high ground just because she's a saint. Part of her is motivated by money, and you might not think that's a bad thing, but when your content relies solely on the pitfalls of others, it kind of is. It really does push people to find things wrong with every single little thing. And here we come to the real reason why I decided to greenlight this video. At first, I was content with the idea that Angelika was just young and she's starting her YouTube channel, so it's all about the hustle and she'll improve as she goes. To which, in broad strokes, I would say she has. She's calmed down the distorted faces in the thumbnail, her titles are still argumentative, but at least marginally better, and then she focuses on a collection of stories for the day and there's less rants about trivial things, so for the most part, she focuses on bigger and more worthy stories, which is great. But there's a reason why I think Angelika needs to take some time for self-reflection. In all these drama stories, Angelika has held the moral high ground, as do many other commentary channels. If they didn't have a compass pointed north, I really doubt so many people would be subscribed to them. But some of these standards she's holding people up to cannot be humanly reached. Gabbie Hanna has been at the center of what seems like a non-stop roller coaster of drama. Whether she was in the right or the wrong is not the point of this video, so I won't be going into that. And for some added backstory, I do apologize that I only know Gabbie Hanna through the controversies she's been a part in. From the moment that people have been calling her a joke thief all the way to now, I've been aware of her. I'm just saying I'm coming from a place where I have not stanned Gabbie Hanna. I just want to make that clear. The interesting thing to me about Gabbie is that she never struck me as an intentionally malicious person, just someone who's very prone to making mistakes. But with each controversy that comes up, I do get the sense that she's trying to learn from each one. Like from the joke thief accusation, her response to that seemed very candid. Parallel thinking is a real thing. Not everyone's a thief. Then to her Kenza Cosmetics thing with her makeup brushes, her response was not what her fans were hoping for. And then she spoke to iNabber to try to get a clearer picture of how to do right by people. That genuinely looks like someone who's trying to do right. And also in this case, it's really sad to me that Gabbie was punished way harsher than Tana Mongeau was. Tana, who pushed the exact same product. No one really cared because Tana had set such a low bar for herself. Then there's that whole thing with Jessie, which is a big yikes, but that's a situation where what's right and wrong is really gray contrary to what the internet might think. I know I'm probably getting flack for this, but I think it's a very difficult situation to thread. Like, I don't even know which side I'd stand on, honestly. Some people will say that even associating with anyone in the direct vicinity of the rapist should be condemned, while other people might think, well, okay, but how far does that go? Can I talk to the friends and that'll be okay? Or does it need to go a little bit farther than that? Honestly, for that one, I'm still open to discussion for that. I haven't made up my mind on anything, so we'll just put that out there. But then we have this latest controversy of looking for e-girl aesthetics and using a photo of a girl who had been murdered. Gabbie took some time to find out what the best way to address this was and then spoke with the family before publicly addressing it. To me, everything about this sounds like someone who was genuinely trying to do the right thing. Luckily, Angelika sees this and accepts this too.
The first time in a really long time where I'm going to say Gabbie Hanna's response or apology video is actually good. I felt like I had no reason to not believe her this time. I don't know, it just felt more real. And this is what I want to see more of when she's addressing her scandals.
But then I see on Twitter that Angelika is regretting how nice she was to Gabbie in her video. Because of what, you might ask? Tags. Motherfucking tags. Yes, the tags that are important for search engine optimization and getting the video to the people who have been following the story. That's being targeted to make her the bad guy again. This is how I know humanity is just fucked. In this case, Gabbie did everything right. Everything. She went about it in the most sincere way possible. She spoke to the family before speaking about it publicly. She's donating the money she earns from the video to a charity, and she tags it so the video gets out to the people that have been following the story. Angelika and other drama channels like yours. I don't understand. What do you want? We have a person here who's trying to do some good, and when you find tags that feature drama channels to make the video more easily found, she's the bad guy again?
I saw these tags, so I felt very icky. I think when you make an apology, you shouldn't have to care if it reaches the drama channels or anyone else. The apology should reach the person you're apologizing to, and that's all you should care about.
No. Incorrect. The lingering effect these drama channels can cause is way worse than just the people directly affected. If you deny this, you and many other channels like yours are just serving your own agenda because you are in fact a drama channel. There will always be viewers not subbed to Gabbie Hanna that will only hear the story through the drama channel. And the initial impression they get from these channels will often be the only thing they hear if they do not find Gabbie's video. So it's not wrong or icky to optimize the video to reach those viewers. Whereas other people might find it icky to exaggerate the hell out of video titles just for the clicks. But hey, if you want to argue that those titles didn't include sensitive topics because there was no death, no rape, no murder involved, fine, make excuses. It seems as if you've never considered that those video titles could end up severely damaging someone's mental state to the point of no return. But yeah, let's pick on tags, which is not even as visible to the average person as titles and thumbnails are.
The only reason I was angry, it was the fact that she didn't address it. When you make an apology, you shouldn't have to care if it reaches the drama channels. The apology should reach the person you're apologizing to, and that's all you should care about.
Also, incorrect. If you think this is a matter only between Gabbie and the girl's family, drama channels should not be making videos on this hounding her for a response. This was an apology made public because it needed to be, and you even agreed. Gabbie is not even clickbaiting here. She's just making the video searchable for those who aren't even subscribed to her but know about the situation from ancillary sources like yours. I don't understand how there's criticism for this. There is no way to hold someone up to these impossible standards. If you apologize, you didn't apologize right. If you give to charity, you didn't give enough. This is just absolutely ridiculous to me. There's no winning. You're making it easier to be a villain in this sense, because at least then people would just shut up and shrug it off. Oh yeah, Jake Paul tried to scam kids? Yeah, sound like something he'd do. Oh yeah, Tana promoted scammy makeup brushes? Yeah, sound like something she'd do. Oh yeah, Rice Gum gave out some expired Amazon codes in his apology video for a gambling site? Yeah, sounds like something he'd do.
This is why people are afraid to speak. This is why people don't address stuff, because it just goes to show that you will be villainized no matter what.
Why try to be a good person in this day and age when commentary channels are just willingly accepting of scummy people doing scummy things because it's in their persona, but when a better person makes a mistake, we demonize them even worse? As a side note, I hope Gabbie knows that she did really well this time around. I mean, this may not mean a lot coming from a small channel like me who's honestly not that familiar with her, but I honestly hate seeing how much shit she's getting from Angelika's very ignorant post. In conclusion, I don't think that Angelika is the worst person covering drama on YouTube because at the end of the day, her moral compass is still pointed north, and most of the people she makes videos on are deserving of the criticism levied against them. But with her post on Twitter, I fear she may be getting there. It's as if we as a society can't praise a good deed when we see one. We poke holes at it because the apology wasn't presented in the absolute picture-perfect way, or the amount of money coming out of this one person's pocket is just not enough. If we keep thinking that way, we are a lost cause. We would just be emboldening people to be assholes and be at their absolute worst because being at your best is just not enough. It'll never be enough. Angelika is probably going to hit 500,000 subscribers soon, but before she does, I hope she takes some time to look back and ask herself, looking back at her own channel and her own shortcomings, if this mentality is really necessary. Just some self-reflection would be nice.
I know you don't like me, but I don't care.
It's clear she doesn't care who she offends or not, but here I'll challenge her to think about how she would feel if she were on the opposite side of these videos, and see if she would react the same way. Because unless Jesus was reincarnated into a sassy blonde girl that I just didn't know about, I guarantee that if you scrolled through the article just looking for photos, made a huge oversight on a very public platform, tried to find the best way to address the situation without causing further distress to the family, set up AdSense to go to the girl's memorial fund, and made a truly heartfelt apology for it, to then get called out for tagging drama channels to improve the SEO as being scummy or not a true apology. If she can go through all of that and still feel like she can say the same thing, she has to be living with the gods up there. Because we humans, we have flaws, we make mistakes. We're not perfect, but we try to be. And at the end of the day, we're just that. Human. If you are new to my channel, I make commentary videos when the topic really hits me, so I won't be churning out a new drama video on every topic that crosses the YouTube stratosphere. I only felt like no one was really taking this particular channel to task, which was really surprising to me, which is why I've kind of risking the dislike button for it. So please, even if you did agree with this video, don't subscribe on that account. But if you look through my other videos and think that's your cup of tea, by all means, please join the tea leaf team. We can use more tired, sad, really lost faith in humanity type of people over here.